Hey Droogies, how you all doing? It's Sam from the Gemini team, and today we've got an ethical dilemma to discuss. Booyah. Okay guys, as always we start off a video by wishing you the very best and hoping you're enjoying the sunny weather we're having. So the ethical issue that we're going to discuss, it was recently brought to my attention by a friend actually that somebody had written a comment on a Facebook group about gradings. And the ethical issue in itself was this individual, this teacher, was going to put a student through for a grading that he, by his own admission, knew the student was not going to pass. So essentially, he knew the kid was going to fail. He was still going to put this kid through for the grading anyway. And he then quoted he was going to do that to, quote, prove a point. I'll actually post a screenshot of that conversation that you can have a look at yourself and you can read exactly what it is this instructor wrote. So check it out. Okay, so you had a look at that and you can make heads and tails of that whatever you want. The issue that I have is the fact that this guy knew his student was going to fail and he was going to put him forward for it anyway. So my first question to that is why? He said by his own admission in that script you just wrote, the script you just read, you didn't write it, you read it, he wanted to prove a point. But what point is it that you're wanting to prove? Is he saying, right, he mentioned about pushy parents begging him to say, right, can we put this little kid in for our grading? He's amazing. His instructor was like, right, fine, I'm sick of this. I'm going to put him through for his grading. He's going to fail. That's my point proven. However, what does that prove? It proves that you're being a dick, essentially. Because if you have a student and you know that they're not ready for grading, whether that's due to technical ability or lack of attendance or maturity, whatever, what I would do is actually sit down that student and say, look, grading's coming up, however, I feel as though that you need to work on a few more areas, X, Y, and Z. How about we get some more training time in, we really push for those areas that need improvement, then I'll put you forward for the grading. Or, if you don't have time to do that, sit them down with the parents, if they're a kid, and say, look, I don't feel that your son, your daughter is ready to grade because, and then you list the reasons, but you do so in a reasonable way. If you just threw them into a grading which you knew they're going to fail, you're giving that kid false hope, especially if it's a child, you're giving them false hope. They are still going to think, oh, I can still do this and I can pass, and by this time next week I'll be a whatever, I don't know, red belt, blue belt, red belt, black belt, whatever, irrespective. But in their mind, and in some cases in their hearts, they're going to go off and feel as though they can still attain those grades. Unbeknownst to them, you've already predetermined that they're going to fail the grading. So you are actually deceiving your student. You're including some deception in there, which is sick for an instructor. If you want to call yourself a martial arts instructor, and again, one of the tenets of taekwondo is integrity. If you're doing this to your student, you're not showing integrity. You're deceiving them. What will then happen is that the kid will do this grading, they'll fail the grading inevitably because you've really decided they're going to fail. They're going to become disheartened. Kids being kids are quite egocentric, which means that anything bad happens, they feel as though it's their fault. They're the reason why bad things have happened. So they're going to come away from that feeling like, oh, I'm the one who messed up, so I'm not good at this. And then they're going to probably quit martial arts, or at least quit your dojo, your dojang. So you've lost a student who you could, had you gone down the more moral and correct routes, develop them to become a good student, work with them, and you could have actually made a really good instructor-student working relationship. And you've sabotaged that by, one, deceiving them, and two, putting them into a grading that you know they're going to fail. For me, it's unethical. It really is unethical. Like I said, if you don't feel as though that your student is ready, have a word with the parents, sit them down, and if they are understanding parents, if they're a cool family who take constructive criticism on board, they may well actually see your perspective and say, actually, yes, we actually agree with you. we do feel as though our kid, sorry, cat's going to jump up, up you come. They may say, actually, yeah, we feel as though our son, our daughter has not invested enough time, so we agree with what the instructor is saying. But if they have the maturity to accept that, they could still go away, come back later on, and still be students at your club. Also, what I don't feel comfortable with as well is the fact that gradings you generally have to pay for. You've got to pay to grade. So this student, if they're going to fail, I'm assuming they'd be paying for this grading. But essentially what they're doing is they're paying to fail something. So what happens then? At the end of a grading, because they inevitably fail, because it's been predetermined, we've established, does the instructor then give the money back to them as a refund, or does the instructor keep the money, which is financial abuse? Anyway, ethical conundrum, ethical dilemma. Personally, I'm very much against that. I don't ever want to put students forward for gradings that they're going to fail. If ever I was to put a student forward into a grading and they did fail, it will be an oversight. It will be they didn't perform on the day for whatever reason, or the examiners asked something which actually we haven't even covered in the lessons, in which case then I may have to go away, or I will go away, and analyse my whole lesson syllabus and format. That will be my homework as an instructor. However, I will never put a student into a grading already predetermining that they're going to fail. It's wrong. And if you're going to do that, then there's something quite wrong with your approach. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Stay safe, train hard, keep listening to Jack Off Jill because they're the best band around, and I'll see y'all in the next video. No more Janes!